Welcome to American Musicals. I'm Ivana, and I'm very pleased to introduce you Karoline Steckley, and she is a president of Italo-Americana Association in Friuli-Venezia. So she will stay with us for 5 meetings and during this project. And this project is organized by CEDOX, with the collaboration of the Italo-American Association. So, the aim of this project is to bring us closer to the American culture because it is very interesting and instead everyday life, in our everyday life. So, it's an interesting opportunity for you to employ your English listening skills. So this is all, and I wish you a very nice time and a good listening. And so very thanks, and I give you Caroline.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I would like to introduce my colleague, Denise Tecchio, who is the coordinator of the American Relatrice. And she manages our relationship with the American Embassy in Rome and the American Consulate in Milan. So if you want to come over here.
Hello, welcome everyone. We're based in Trieste and we've been in American space since 2007. But there was a US consular presence in Trieste since 1797. So if you're ever in Trieste, come by and see us. We have many activities, an American library, and something for everyone.
Okay, so I'm so happy to be here. This is our friend Joe. He's not American, unfortunately. He's Australian, but that's okay. We'll forgive him. He is going to help me with the technical part tonight. I hope that you were able to enter. Thank you, Lorenzo, Lanfranco, Franca, Lydia, Luisana, Sylvia. Carol, I'm going to check out because I know all the answers. So it's not fair for me to play, is it? So if you're not in, now's the time to enter. Did I? Okay, I'm still there. Oh well. Okay. So in Trieste, we have a very strong American presence, as you may know, as you heard from Denise. It's a historical presence. We're very happy to share our culture. We believe that when you learn a language, what makes you want to learn a language is something that you love. It could be a person. You know, we learned Italian because we fell in love. But we also know that people love English when they learn English with something they like. Music, for example, or films. Netflix did a lot of good things for English teachers, right? So today we're talking about musicals. Americans love musicals. This is part of our culture. And American musicals are very specifically American. Of course, there are musicals in other places, but we're going to concentrate on the American musical today. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So just before we start, Joe, just so you know, your phone is, you have to look at the color for the answer, because you have to read here, but you only see the color here, so it might take a moment. Also, you want to make sure that you're intelligent, but also fast, because you will be rewarded. There are about 20 questions. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go, Joe. Let's start. American Musicals is the title today. 3, 2, 1. Question 1, true or false? The musical and jazz are distinctly American art forms. True or false? Blue for true, red for false. I have 8 answers. I'm waiting for the others. Oh, I hope mine is. It's probably me.
Blue or red. Okay, let's see how we're doing here.
Okay, 10 people got it right, 1 person got it wrong. Yes, the musical it was developed at the same time as jazz. Jazz and musicals grew up together. They're best friends. Okay? So good job if you answered true. That means you already know a lot about the American musical. Next. Oh, Veronica, great job. You're super fast. Jessica, followed by Fab, Kiana, and Luzana. Great job. You're on the leaderboard. Next. Quiz. The Sound of Music was composed by this famous duo. Porter and Young, red. Yellow is Rodgers and Hammerstein. Blue is Miranda and Blunt, and green is Bernstein and Sondheim. Who composed Tutti insieme appassionatamente? Is that what you call it? For us, it's The Sound of Music. Is it red, Porter and Young, yellow, Rodgers and Hammerstein? It was Rodgers and Hammerstein. That's how I know I'm not in a room of Americans. Every American knows this. So now you have to memorize that, okay? It was composed by Rodgers and Hammerstein. Next. Oh, Frank, I'm sorry. Louisiana passed you. Louisiana, Franca, Jessica, Fabka, Kiana. Great job. Next. True or false? The Jazz Singer was the first full-length film with sound and music. True, blue, or red is false?
10 seconds.
Yeah, the number of seconds is there. You gotta be fast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. No answers. Very good.
It's true, The Jazz Singer was the first film with sound. Isn't that exciting? It was a musical. Okay? It was actually about a young man who was very famous in his family for singing in the synagogue. And he was a Jewish man, but his dream was to be a jazz singer. And his family was devastated by this. It was the worst thing that could possibly happen. Of course, there's always a happy ending, but it was the first full-length film that was with sound. Okay, before that, of course, there were silent films, or the music was played in the theater. In this case, it was actually part of the film. Next. Uh-oh, there's a lot of action on the leaderboard. Good job, everyone. Okay, you like seeing your name up there, isn't that fun? Next. Puzzle. You have to click and drag them in the correct order. The longest running Broadway musicals of all time, you need to put them 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the order? You have to push and move it. Oh my goodness, is it Lion King, Chicago, Phantom of the Opera, Cats? What order? Which one is first? Which is second? Which is third? And which is fourth? How good are you? I bet you know. Are you copying each other? 25 seconds to put them in the correct order. What is the longest running Broadway musical of all time? What's the correct order? The first, second, third, and fourth place.
I need 3 answers.
You have to touch it and move it. You have to kind of click and drag it. You have to move it physically.
5, 4, 3, 2,
It's not
1.
working.
It's not working.
It doesn't work very well in this room.
Oh, there must have been something. What's the order? The first, okay, I'm sorry if it didn't work. But the longest running Broadway musical, of course, is Phantom of the Opera. The second was Chicago. Did you know that? The third one was The Lion King, oddly enough, and the fourth was Cats. Remember that one? Okay? So that's the order. Let's try the next one.
Completely wrong.
No change.
That's okay. We learn from games, don't we? We don't expect you to know everything. We learn from games too. Okay, good job. Next, quiz. Who composed the music in Grease? Grease, oh, willow, willow, willow. Tell me more, tell me more. Right? Was it Leonard Bernstein, red? Was it yellow, Olivia Newton-John? Was it green, blue, Frankie Valli, or green, John Travolta?
5, 4.
Who's the composer of Grease? Which you know was? It was Frankie Valli. You guys are good. Four of you are really good. Yeah, Leonard Bernstein was a good guess because Leonard did do a lot of musicals, but Frankie Valli did the music for Grease. Okay? Next. Lots of actions. People are moving up. Drama, drama. Denise, you're a high climber. Good for you. All right, next. Quiz. This musical documents the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Is it red, The Wizard of Oz? Is it The Boys in the Band, which is yellow? Is it blue, Dreamgirls, or is it green, Jersey Boys? Thank you for looking. You used your clues. Anyway, if you get this one wrong, I'm going to go back to Trieste right now. Come, 2 people got it wrong. Show the media. Can you click right on that? It said Jersey Boys, my friends. Oh well. I tried to help you.
Boys in the band.
Well, I tried to help you, but you weren't ready for it. That's okay. It's okay. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
You've entered into the mentality. You're fast. You're remembering. Okay. Let's try the next one. All right. We've got Louisiana in first place, Lorenzo's in second, Denise T's in third, Sylvia, and then Franca. But what about you guys? Faster. Go. Next. This 1939 musical was also the first film in color. Talk about innovation. Was it red, The Wizard of Oz? Was it yellow, Showboat? Was it blue hair, or was it The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? I'm not giving you any more answers, people.
Wizard of Oz.
It was The Wizard of Oz. Show the media. Show the media. Okay, I gave you the answer, people. I gave you the answer, didn't I?
There was the foto.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. I help you. I love you. I help you. All right? Some of you still got it wrong. That's okay. Louisiana's on fire. Look at that. Wow, super good. All right, so Louisiana's in first, Lorenzo's in second, Franca, and Fab, and Sylvia. But the rest of you?
Down.
What's going on? What's going on? You still have time. Let's go to the next one. True or false? The musical Wicked, 2003, tells the Wicked Witch's story. Is it true, blue, or is it false, red? The musical Wicked tells the Wicked Witch's story. Wicked Witch. Is there a connection? Yes, there's a connection. So if you saw The Wizard of Oz, you know that there was Dorothy, there was the Tin Man, there was a lion, there was a scarecrow, and then there were 2 witches. There was a good witch and a bad witch that was still alive. Then there's a dead witch. The witch that was still alive in 2003 on the stage tells her side of the story. And in the end, she wasn't so bad. She was a good witch in the end. When she tells the story, she's good. Okay? So, Louisiana's still in first. You gotta catch her, you people. What about Louisiana? You can't let her win like that. It's embarrassing. Lorenza, Fab, Jessica.
Sorry.
Quiz. Okay, there's more than one answer. These musicals explain the American immigrant experience. Red is In the Heights.
Don't look at the picture.
Yellow is the chorus line. Blue is West Side Story, and green is Dreamgirls. Which 2 explain the American immigrant experience? For all its good parts and bad parts. Yes, In the Heights. In the Heights and West Side Story. When you arrived, if you were punctual, you probably saw a dance from the West Side Story. West Side Story, by the way, from 1961, just celebrated its how many? How old is it this year? 1961, 2021. How old is it?
60 years.
Yes, good math. It's 60 years old, okay? Just like our association, Time Warner Association was born the same year as West Side story. It does tell about the American immigrant experience, specifically the Puerto Rican culture. And the newer version, it's not, there's also a new West Side Story from 2020 put out by Steven Spielberg, which will come out in December of this year. But In the Heights is a story of a group of Dominican immigrants living in New York, and it's out now. It just came out, and now you can watch it on, I think, Disney Plus. It was it wasn't written by, but the music was created by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Okay, next. Oh my goodness. 5 correct answers in a row. Louisiana's good. Okay, next. Quiz. The song New York, New York came from this musical. New York, New York, red. Yellow, Fiddler on the Roof, blue, The Music Man, or green, Frank Sinatra and Friends. It's up to you, right?
We have a musical lover here.
Is that Louisiana? It's got to be Louisiana. Is she our big winner? So all of you got it right. I'm sure it's not because you looked at the picture or understood from the name of the song being the same as the 1970 musical, New York, New York, but it's true. Next. Liza Minnelli, do you know who her mother was?
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. What movie was Judy Garland in? That was also the first film in color. The Wizard of Oz. Good job. This is a very, very good group of people with lots of information. Very good. Quiz. More than one answer. These anti-war musicals give youth, young people, a voice. Red is South Pacific, yellow is Hair, blue is American Idiot, and green is Rock of Ages. You better get one correct. It's I gave you Hair. Okay, Hair was a movie about the Vietnam War, as you remember, it's the hippie one, right? From 1968, I think. And then American Idiot was a film from, not a film, it was first a Broadway show that actually didn't go to Broadway first. It started at the Berklee School of Music, and it was written by the band Green Day, if you remember them. And it was also protesting Desert Storm, I think, or the war in Afghanistan. Okay? Next. We do have some musical ones on here. Next. Quiz. This play and film address the stigma of AIDS. Is it red, Hamilton? Is it yellow, The Little Shop of Horrors? Is it blue, Rent? Or is it green, Hairspray? I give you the answer and you still get it wrong. Okay, so Rent came out in the 1990s, all right? Actually, the very early 1990s, I think, and it won like every Tony Award possible in 1996. The interesting thing about this play is it became the soundtrack for a lot of us who were studying at that time. I remember when it came out, it was like, wow, this is the most amazing play ever with a great soundtrack. But the writer of the play, whose last name is Larson, actually died the day before the opening on Broadway, and he died of AIDS. So his sister actually accepted all the awards on his behalf, and he really won everything. So this is still, it was a play that was very groundbreaking. It was an important play, but it was also a play that they had some problematic aspects, like every play, especially every play that does something new and exciting. In this case, gave a voice to people with AIDS, to people who were drug users, people who were living an alternative lifestyle, to gay people, gave all these voices that we hadn't seen in an overt way before that. But there were also some problems with it. But it took a long time for people to kind of talk about the other issues that maybe, the flaws, the defects of the play. Also because nobody wanted to, well, it was such a sad story, the fact that the writer died the day before. People kind of left Rent alone, and then after a while they started to bring up the other problems with it, but great play anyway. Next.
Movement at the station, fabulous catching up. Movement at the station, fabulous catching up.
Oh, Tiziana, you're rocking. Good job. Look at how it's changing each time though. Next. True or false? The prom also deals with LGBTQ issues. This was a Broadway film, or excuse me, stage play that became a Broadway film. Did it deal with these issues? Yes or no? True, blue, red, false. It's true. This was a story, in fact, the film was very new. I think it's from last year. It has James Corden in it. And it deals with a very recent story in America of, you know, the prom is the big dance in high school that kids go to. And there was a girl in Indiana who wanted to bring her girlfriend to the prom. And first, the school board decided, no, that's unacceptable. The dance is only for couples with a boy and a girl. So, but she fought it, and she eventually won. But very sadly, only I think 2 other people went to the prom because the families were so disgusted with this idea that they created another secret prom and they didn't invite them. So it's a very sad story in real life of just excluding people. But it became a play and then later a film. Oh my goodness, Fab's in number 1 now. Louisiana, Jessica, Lorenza, and Franca. And Tiziana is a super streak. Next, quiz. This musical is the first hip-hop musical on Broadway. Was it called Grandmaster Flash Review, A Star is Born is Yellow, In the Heights, which is blue, or Hamilton in Green?
Ma perché ho risposto senza guardare?
Really? I gave you the answer, you realize that. Can you show the media, Joe? It's too easy, then why did you get it wrong? That's because you thought I was joking, didn't you? People are like, this is too easy, it's gotta be wrong. No, it's easy because I gave you the answer. But yeah, it's Hamilton. Oh, so amazing. You can watch Hamilton now, finally, because it became a film and now it's on Disney+. If you don't want to pay for it, just pay for 1 month so you can watch Disney+ and In the Heights, that's what I say, and then cancel it, okay? Next. Okay, there's some change happening here. Okay, next. True or false? In Hamilton, actors of color play the founding fathers. True or false? The founding fathers were George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, etc. Now you're like waiting for the photo to reveal. Are they black? Are they white?
But speed is the essence.
Yeah, exactly. Speed is important though. Okay, so yes, Hamilton, one of the special things about Hamilton is they're taking stories from the past that are traditionally stories of dead white men, and telling it with a cast of today. And so Hamilton is very special in that regard, because in America we have a real problem with race issues. We have a difficult time doing anything but being white. So Hamilton was special because they were allowed to finally tell a story, and another immigrant story, because the story of Alexander Hamilton is on the $20 bill and the $10 bill. It's also an immigrant story. And it's told by these actors who are all of color, okay, all of the main characters are of color, and is told in hip-hop using rap. Fantastic. My mother is in her late 70s, tells me one day, Karoline, I decided I like rap. I said, Mom, did you see Hamilton? She says, yes, I saw Hamilton. I said, so Hamilton did do things. It introduced lots of the older theater goers to rep, but it also helped younger theater goers want to go to the theater again. Like Ren did in the 90s, Hamilton did over the last 10 years or so. Next. Aha, interesting. Next, quiz. This musical is inspired by Motown, Diana Ross, and the Supremes. Was it Dreamgirls, red? Was it Tina, yellow? Was it blue, the Queens? Or was it green, the unsinkable Molly Brown? It was called Dreamgirls, and it's the story of Diana Ross and the Motown record label. This is a competitive group, I think. Okay, next, quiz. The highest award given to a Broadway play, what's it called? Is it an Oscar? Red. Is it yellow, an Academy Award? Is it blue, a Tony Award? Or is it green, a Super Musical Award? It's a Tony Award. So the Tony Award is for theater. And in fact, in the lesson, this is the game, so instead of giving you the lesson, but I do have a lesson. If you're interested, you can have it, we can email it to you, it's a PDF. It has all the links to all of the plays we're talking about. But the Tony Award is the highest. In fact, there are a couple of Tony performances. When they have that evening of the Tonys, like, it's kind of like the Oscars, but they have the different musical troupes perform the best songs from their plays. And some of there's one for Rent, for example, you've seen the lesson from 1996 when they won everything. So you just get goosebumps listening to it because you really hear the best of the best. It's just beautiful. Okay, next. Very interesting. We're gonna break 10,000. Let's go. Okay, true or false? Musicals are often featured in late night television. If you see any of those, like David Letterman, which is no longer around, but some of those other ones, Jimmy Fallon, like who else? James Corden's in the middle. Do we talk about Broadway a lot on late night television? True or false? Says they often do. Yes or no? It's true. It's true. Broadway is often brought up because Broadway for us is part of our American songbook. It's part of culture. So young people, old people, everybody loves Broadway musicals. Not everybody, but I don't understand the people who don't. I love them. Okay. So,
Super philosophy.
good job. Next. Quiz. This is more than one answer. The best ways to learn Broadway songs, which is very good for English, is it red playlist? Is it yellow attending plays? Is it blue YouTube? Or green listening to soundtracks? The best way to learn the songs so that you can sing them when it's time. There's more than one answer, of course. If you answered all four of them, you are correct. It was a trick question. Sometimes they're too easy, sometimes they're too tricky, I know. I know, but it's my game, I can make them tricky. All right. We've gone over 10,000. There we go. Next, true or false?
Oh, this is the last question.
Americans love a sing-along, true or false?
Last question. Let's see who's going to get it. Louisiana or Bob?
Yeah, who's gonna? Do Americans love a good sing-along? If the picture doesn't help you, I can't help you anymore. Who said false? Oh, come on. We love a sing-along. We love them, okay? Next. The podium, let's see how you did. In third place, it's Lorenza. Good job. Where's Lorenza? Good job, Lorenza. Second place, Louisiana. Where's Louisiana? Yeah. Good job. In first place, Fab. Where's Fab? Good job. Woo! Runners up for Kiara and Jessica. Very good, very good. Okay. game. Let me just show you, Joe, if you can just, we'll close this now. You can close that page now. Did you like that game?
Yes.
Did you learn something?
Yes.
Oh, good. See, that's what people forget. They often forget that. What we do in our association is we love to teach through play. Because even adults love a good game, don't they? Right? This is the lesson. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. I'm not going to teach it because we just did everything in it. So if you can help me scroll through it, Joe. This is where I just tell you what's all in a lesson. So if you're interested, we can email this to you. It's a PDF. But it's just talking about how the American musical, the themes we talked about. Can you move up a little bit? This is what it looks like. So the first thing I do is I give you some links to some playlists. There's one on Spotify for free, where you can listen to the best of musicals. Then on YouTube, you can do the 20 catchiest songs from modern movie musicals from 1985 to the present. Then, of course, if you're more into the classic ones, you can go to that playlist. So these are all links. If you click on them, you can go to the webpage and you can start to sing with us. This is the list of the longest running Broadway shows that we talked about. So this is the first 16, which I only put because number 16 is Grease. I thought it would be, higher up. But anyway, this is the longest running, and I like to put the where I got that from. Then I want to talk about the heroes of the American Songbook: George Gershwin, Rodgers and Hammerstein, who we alluded to, Cole Porter, my favorite, who also had a house in Venice, who loved to throw big parties in Venice, and Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim. Those are our big heroes. We talked about musicals and innovation. Jazz Singer, first full-length motion picture with sound. Pretty exciting. Okay? Then we have the Chicago, which was the second longest running Broadway musical. Started in 1927, same year as the Jazz Singer, but it was a silent film. Later it became a Broadway show, and of course with sound, and became the Catherine Zeta-Jones version, of course, has all the good stuff. It has sex, drugs, rock and roll, corruption, and jazz. What's not to love, okay? Then we have The Wizard of Oz, 1939, which was famous for its unique characters, but also great music, and it was in color. Retold in 2003, from the witch's point of view, based on a book series that told the story with a different point of view. Then we've got West Side Story. That's what you were watching when you came in. This is the trailer, the publicity, right? The ad for West Side Story when it first came out in 1961, and then the version that's coming out in December. So you can watch the difference between what a trailer looked like in 1961 and what it looks like now. Then I put the lyrics to America. That's the song that you saw when you came in, and it shows the girls love living in America, the boys hate it. Because of course the girls have new freedom, it's a modern place for them, and the boys say, oh, this is terrible, it's better at San Juan, when we were a big deal, right? So those are the words, and that's the song, that's the video that we were showing at the beginning. This is In the Heights, which is kind of a modern version. It's not West Side Story, but it's another story told from the point of view of Latino Americans. This is the one also written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also is in Hamilton. It's on Disney Plus, okay? And that's the trailer for it. This is in Italian, by the way. I have to give you a little bit of something. So the trailer's in Italian. Then American the Military, propaganda, but also anti-war sentiment. So this is one called On the Town, which has one song about New York, but it's not New York, the one you're thinking of. Okay? Then there was Hair, which you know about the age of Aquarius, etc. This was anti-war one, and then American Idiot was later by Green Day. Then there was Rent, which talked to us about AIDS and about LGBTQ issues. This was when they won a Tony, so if you click on that, you'll see their performance at the Tony Awards the year they won everything. Then The Prom also talks about LGBTQ issues. There was the 2016 was the play, 2020 is the film. And then there's, of course, Hamilton. which they said it's America then as told by American now. I love that idea. So the cast is multicultural. The story, because it's an immigrant story, it's seen as a story that of any American family. You know, it's a uniquely American story. But this is George Washington, the first president of the United States, and Alexander Hamilton. Of course, Lin-Manuel Miranda is Puerto Rican descent, and Christopher, what's his last name, Jackson, is African American. I didn't talk about Annie, but I want to tell you about Annie. This was a musical I loved growing up. In the 1980s, she looked like this. She was a little orphan girl. She was based off a comic. A comic is a fumeco, right? It became this, but it was redone in 2014, and you'll see what that looks like. Now she's a girl of color, and Danny Warbucks is black too. So I love this kind of retelling of a story. Again, telling through American now. Then of course we've got Frankie Valli, who did the music to Grease. There he is. But the Jersey Boys is also about his story with four seasons. And of course we have Dreamgirls. This is the trailer from that, which talks about Diana Ross and the Supremes. Then we have, it was the question about, do Americans love a sing-along? And of course they do. This is Carpool Karaoke with James Corden. You've probably seen some of these on YouTube. And these are Broadway stars singing Broadway songs with him when he hosted the Tony Awards, I think 2 years ago. I think it was 2019. Then, of course, the fact that Broadway was closed for a long time because of the pandemic. But now, Broadway reopened in September with some of the more popular big money makers like Hamilton, Lion King, some of those. And this was really on late night television, getting people excited about going to the theater again. So that's what I had to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming. And I have time for a few questions. I'm not an expert, but I'm very happy to answer any questions you may have. So that's all I have to tell you today. Now it's up to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Heats. It's a New York world.
What?
Into the heats.
Into the Heights. Heights is, it refers to Washington Heights.
It's a borough, no?
Yeah, it's a neighborhood.
Neighborhood.
It's a neighborhood of New York called Washington Heights. It's also the neighborhood where Lin-Manuel Miranda, who created it, is from, but it was written by another woman. But yeah, so in the Heights, it's talking about in Washington Heights.
North of Manhattan.
It's, I don't know how north it is, but somewhere on the island, right? Yes?
Posso farlo in italiano?
Come on.
Qual è stato il maggiore raccolta di Oscar come musical? West Side Story 11, mi sembra, vero?
Può essere, non lo so.
West Side Story come
11?
Questa è
come Academy
10,
Awards
sembra.
ha vinto 10.
10.
Incluso Best Picture,
Best
soundtrack,
best sceneggiatura, best
best
everything.
10
Sweet.
Questa storia è average.
10.
I don't know, but West Side Story
West Side Story is the number one in, right. In fact,
as a film.
for our 60th birthday for our association, we just last week had a showing of West Side Story in a theater in Trieste, and it is a 3-hour film. It is amazing, but you realize that it's the kind of film that you would never watch at home because you can't sit on your couch for so long, but in a theater, it's magic. It's amazing. And now the woman who played, you saw this woman here? Okay, her name is Rita Moreno. She was the only Puerto Rican person in the film, and she is also in the new film. Her 90th birthday will be the day before the new version opens in December. She's amazing. That's her. She was about 30 years old, and she was very horrified because she had to paint her skin brown. She said, "I'm not brown." They're like, "You're going to be brown for this." So all the people are very painted in a strange way, but that's what Hollywood does, right? Other questions? Yes.
Di nuovo posso fare una domanda?
Come on.
È la storia di fatta di Giulietta Romeo. Solo con...
Esatto, sì. West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet. In fact, ci trova, cioè, it's possible online to find the original text that Leonard Bernstein used. He had a copy of Romeo and Juliet, and he took notes in the margins of how he wanted his characters to be. In fact, his original idea was not Puerto Rican versus other immigrants. His original idea was to have the female character be Jewish, Hebrea, right, Jewish, and that the male character would be Catholic. But in the end, they opted for having it more of an immigrant story.
And the title should have been East Side Story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
East Side Story.
It had a different, right? So they changed, but the idea is the same. It's Romeo and Juliet.
Do you know how long is the new West Side Story?
How long it is? I think it's the same or close, because I don't think they removed songs. You know, it's long because, well, the overture at the beginning is very long, so even if you cut that first 10 minutes out, it's still almost 3 hours. I'm assuming it'll be close.
And when will be released Hamilton?
Hamilton is already released. It is on, you can watch the film.
In cinema, not
No, not in cinema, it's on Disney.
Only Netflix.
It's on Disney Plus.
Only Disney Plus.
Only Disney Plus, because Lin-Manuel Miranda has an agreement with Disney, because he has written many Disney films. And so it's only on Disney Plus.
It is a movie.
It is a movie. Hamilton, well, it's a movie of the play.
It's not
And
the
it was-
play. It's not the play. It's a movie.
It's the play.
Ah.
But it was filmed in 2015.
Huh?
And so it filmed in 2015, but it came out in 2019, or no, 2020. But it's the actual stage production. But it's in film version, but it's not a film, it's like the play. It's like you're in the theater with them.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it's not like this. This one you see, it's a film. But Hamilton is the play, but film quality.
They shot the musical in the theater.
Yes. And the theater that they shot it in was famous because it was the theater, the same theater that A Chorus Line was in. A Chorus Line is, of course, one of the most famous theaters on Broadway, and that was the home to Hamilton. So when Chorus Line celebrated, I think its 50th anniversary, I'm pretty sure, around 2013, the Hamilton cast actually did songs from the Chorus Line before, and then they had people from the original production, and then they did Hamilton. So it's a special theater. Any other questions? Yes?
Just one. I saw in Broadway Mary Poppins.
Oh, Mary Poppins Returns.
I think it was the second one.
Written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, taken from the book.
It's not on your list because it's English and not American?
No, it would be on my list, but it wasn't the longest running.
Okay,
It didn't make it into the top 16.
okay.
So, yeah, but it's true that, the original Mary Poppins and the second one were actually American productions. Except for Julie Andrews had her,
Yes.
her very special accent, and even Dick Van Dyke in the original has this very strange Cockney accent, but he's American.
Okay.
Okay? And Mary Poppins Returns was Lin-Manuel Miranda again from Hamilton and In the Heights, but he adapted from the books. Because Mary Poppins is a series of 4 books, right? Any other questions? I could talk about musicals all day, but I think you have to go. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing you again. I see you again in a couple of weeks, and we'll be on Zoom next time. Thank you. All right? Thank you for coming. Have a good evening. Oh, Denise has a special treat for you. These are Cracker Jacks. This is an American classic. When we used to go to the theater, we used to eat Cracker Jacks. So it's just caramel corn and peanuts. If you have a peanut allergy, you don't eat them. But